All right, karate fans, ready to kick things up a notch.
Always ready.
Today, we're diving deep into the world of traditional karate, but with a twist. We're exploring the teaching methodology of Sensei Nelson Carrion. And let me tell you, his approach is making waves. He's challenging the very way we think about those fundamental high-end forms.
Oh, absolutely. He gets you thinking differently.
He actually says they're not katas.
Yeah, schematized Kihon is more like it. It's about understanding the building blocks of movement, the foundation.
Okay, schematized Kihon. I have to admit, the first time I heard that, I was like, whoa, time to break out the dictionary. So break it down for us. What does that even mean for someone, especially someone new to karate, who's learning these techniques?
It's like, imagine you're learning to write, right? You start with the alphabet, those basic strokes.
Huh.
On their own, they don't tell a story.
Right, just lines on paper.
Exactly. But master those simple strokes, understand their form and flow, and suddenly you can write a novel, a screenplay, anything.
Okay, I'm starting to see where you're going with this.
Easy forms. They're like that alphabet. Take the rising block from Haiyan Sandan, for example.
A move every karate student knows.
Exactly. But learn it correctly, really understand the weight shift, the hip movement, the way it connects to your core.
And suddenly you're not just blocking, you're creating the base for some seriously powerful counter strikes.
Exactly. It's about understanding how that one seemingly simple movement can be the starting point for so much more.
Yeah.
And that's where his idea of transfer systems comes into play.
Ah, yes, the transfer systems. This is where it got really interesting, but I'll admit, a little tricky to wrap my head around at first. It's like he's found a secret code for unlocking the true potential of those basic movements we learn in those early forms.
It's like, when you're learning to ride a bike and you've got those training wheels on.
Oh, yeah, I remember those days.
The training wheels, that's your transfer system. They're there to help you understand the mechanics, the balance, how it all works together.
Right. Get that muscle memory going.
Then, once you've got it down, off come the training wheels. And boom, you're flying on your own.
And you're still using the same fundamental skills, just applying them differently.
Exactly. That's what Sensei Carrion is getting at. He emphasizes that instructors, they need to bridge that gap between those basic movements and how they translate into real-world application.
So it's not enough to just have your students mimic the movements.
Right. It's about guiding them to understand the why behind the what. He gives this great example of two students, one a beginner, the other more advanced, both practicing that same Haiyan Sandan technique we talked about.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
The transfer system allows both of them to achieve impact to generate profit, but each according to their skill level.
So it's like providing a personalized training plan tailored to each student's progress.
Absolutely. Which brings us to another key element of Sensei Carrion's approach, individualized learning.
Right, because not everyone learns the same way.
Exactly. He's a big believer in instructors adapting their teaching methods to the individual student or the group they're working with.
Which makes perfect sense in any learning environment, really. Some people are visual learners, some learn by doing. How do you even begin to figure out the best approach for each student?
Communication is key. Sensei Carrion emphasizes that for this individualized approach to work, there needs to be a constant open dialogue between the teacher and the student.
So it's not just about the instructor dictating, do this, do that.
Not at all. Students need to feel comfortable asking questions, expressing their challenges, and the teacher needs to be receptive to adjust their teaching based on that feedback.
It's about creating a learning environment where students feel empowered to grow at their own pace, to really own their karate journey.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating is that while Sensei Carrion's insights come from his deep knowledge of traditional karate, these concepts he's talking about, understanding why, personalized learning, open communication, they're not limited to martial arts.
You're right. Whether you're a musician, an athlete, even learning a new language, those foundations of effective learning, they're universal.
Exactly. And that's what makes this so interesting to explore. It all circles back to this. How can we become more active, engaged learners in our own lives?
How can we take those basic building blocks and build something amazing?
Exactly. How can we find those transfer systems that help us bridge the gap from novice to master in whatever we're passionate about?
That's a question worth pondering, listeners. And on that note, we'll leave you to it. Sensei Carrion's approach is a fantastic reminder that no matter how long you've been on your path, there are always new ways to learn and to teach. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and never stop learning. Okay, so we're diving into some pretty cool stuff today.
Yeah, looks like it.
We've got this seminar in Lima, Peru with Sensei Nelson Carrion.
Lima, Peru. Uh-huh.
And get this out, the guy's got 54 years of experience in traditional karate, directly linked to Hidetaka Nishiyama.
Wow. Okay, now that's a name that carries some weight in the karate world.
Right. Talk about a goldmine of knowledge.
Absolutely.
But here's what really got me fired up.
Yeah.
There's this whole focus on something he calls the transfer system within basic techniques.
Interesting. See, even understanding that lineage is key here.
Oh, totally.
Nishiyama Sensei, he was really laser focused on the technical, the precision of karate, but also how it's actually taught. So this whole transfer system thing within that lineage, man, that's fascinating.
It really is. And what's cool is they mention videos of his students actually demonstrating this.
Oh, wow.
Which, I mean, come on, that's what we want to see, right?
Seeing it in action makes all the difference.
Exactly. But hold on, because then it mentions high-end forms being Kihon esquematizados,
Yeah.
not actual katas.
Right.
And that's where, for someone like me, it's like a total light bulb moment, you know?
So I get it.
It's like I've been practicing these forms, but what if I've been missing a whole deeper level of understanding this entire time?
Well, and that's a really common misconception, actually.
Is it?
Think of Kihon esquematizados, kind of like learning scales on a piano.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
They're not full-fledged songs on their own, right?
Right.
But mastering those scales, it unlocks this whole other level of musicality, more complex stuff.
Right.
Hand forms, in a way, they're kind of like the scales of karate.
Huh.
Foundational movements that when you approach them correctly, they really hold the keys to unlocking greater power and precision in your actual katas.
Which is where this whole transfer system thing comes in.
Bingo. Now, granted, we don't have all the specifics yet. That's what's so exciting.
I know, right?
But just based on what we're seeing about Sensei Carrion's lineage, this emphasis on truly effective technique, it seems pretty clear that it involves deeply understanding how to move your body's energy
Interesting.
and force seamlessly through each stance, each strike, even within a form as, I don't want to say basic, but
Yeah.
Heian Sandan.
And that's what makes this seminar so much more than just another training opportunity, you know?
Oh, for sure.
There's this traditional Karate Do Institute instructors program they mentioned too, which focuses on finding the best teaching methods.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's like Sensei Carrion isn't just teaching techniques here, he's sharing a lifetime of refining how to teach and how to understand those techniques on a whole other level, you know?
Absolutely. This whole emphasis on communication between teacher and student, adapting methods for different learning styles, it speaks to a deep, deep understanding of how to really unlock potential in each student.
It's like, imagine this. You're not just learning from his 54 years of experience. You're tapping into a methodology he's honed over decades of teaching. How would that kind of insight, how would that change the way you approach not just Heian Sandan, but every single kata, every technique you practice? Something to think about.